Hey, everybody. Welcome to John Talks Indian Cinema. I am your humble host, the Indian Cine-MANIAC himself, John, of the title of the channel. Okay, a couple of things. First of all, those of you who watch the Jaws episodes, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the comments. There weren't a lot of them, and from what some of you have been telling me, you guys aren't real big fans of that movie, which really disappoints me because I love that film so much. But it's like the films you recommend. I'm not going to love them. I'm not going to love all of them. So I took a shot, but based on the number of views or the lack of the number of views, you guys weren't crazy about that. But I would ask you to check out our Halloween picks. There might be a movie in there that you haven't seen that is a good pick for Halloween. So check that out if you haven't. Also, as of this recording, I have 84 subscriptions, and my first goal is 100. So I want to thank you all. Obviously, you've been sharing these videos because certainly YouTube is not pushing the show out. So it's because of you guys that I even have 84, and I want you to know how much I appreciate that. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Now back to the recommended list. We're getting away from the YKY gang and going back to the recommended list. So the movie I will be reviewing on this episode is Bheja Fry from 2007. This was a film that was recommended by Ayush Jain 3405 or Ayush Jain 3405. I'm working very hard to get these pronunciations right, and I honestly do the best I can. I've gotten a little pushback on my pronunciations. I actually thought that was part of my charm that I sometimes mispronounce these. I don't do it purposely. Um, but anyway, so this film, so I knew nothing about this film. I read nothing about it. I didn't read any description about it. I just knew it was a comedy. So I haven't had great luck with older comedies because the brand of humor from those older films not really my cup of tea. But this, after I watched it, I realized I had seen something like this. So this was directed by Sagar Ballery. It starred Vinay Pathak, who I've seen in My Name is Khan and Merry Christmas. Rajat Kapoor, a very young Rajat Kapoor, who I've seen in Drishyam 1 and 2, Pari, Ancient Vinod, and I think he was also he was in a series that I watched. I think it was Patal Lock. I think that's the one I remember him in. And Sarika Thakur, Milind Soman, and Bheiravi Goswami. Now, I've never seen this actress before, but I would like to see more of her. She was she was a gorgeous woman. And I'm curious to know if she's done anything else. Is she a good actress? I mean, she didn't show her acting chops in this film. She really didn't have to, but she's a good looking woman. Let me know in the comment section. So after I watched this, then I started to do some research. This is a remake of a 1998 French film, Dîner de Cons, a French film. It was also it was made before the Hollywood version, which is Dinner for Schmucks with Steve Carell. They were both out in the same year, but this film came out before then, which I didn't really like that movie. It's funny, this movie, it had to have been based on a play because it's a very theatrical story. It's all pretty much in one location, right? One set for the most part. They go outside of a little bit, but you could kind of tell, and it's not a lot of characters. So that's why I think it's probably based on a play as well as the film, the French film. So let's talk about the story. The story is about a guy who's married, who is in the music business, and he has a dinner where he brings an idiot. And all the people, all the well-to-do people, again, cast, and in these films, it's all about cast, make fun of this person, but The person doesn't know that they are the butt of the jokes and don't know that's why they're there. So he finds this idiot, Bharat, and his goal is to bring this idiot to this dinner so that his friends can all make fun of him. And it becomes a comedy of errors. And when this guy comes into his life goes downhill. Ranjit. Ranjit and his wife, Shatal. Oh, and his mistress, Suman, played by Bhairavi Goswami. Um, and that's the story. So it's he's trying to he wants to make Bharat look stupid, and in the process, his life pretty much gets ruined. And some of it was Bharat's fault, but most of it was his own fault. Very unlikable character played by Rajat Kapoor. But that's pretty much the story. So the story, because it is, I mean, I saw Dinner for Schmucks, and this movie came up before then, so I've never seen anything quite like this. So I'm going to give the story a 3. Um, and overall, this film, I got to tell you, I really liked this film. This was a nice film. It wasn't rip roaring funny. It was kind of subtle. It was, I have to say, it was pretty grounded. Because my biggest complaint, and you got to understand this, and I've a couple of my reviews I've talked about this. I get that there's a certain time period in Indian films where like the comedy is over the top, overacting, a lot of musical cues, a lot of goofy sound effects, and that's just the style of movies, comedies in India. And I get that. And then there came a time where performances got more grounded, the sound got better, the recording got better, and it changed. And that's really my exposure to Indian cinema, is that, not prior to that. Now I've been exposed to it, and I've told you how I feel about that. Well, this was very different. Now this is 2007, so this was really past that point. But I enjoyed the humor here. It wasn't shoved in your face humor, although there were some scenes that were slapsticky, but overall it wasn't. It was a pretty it was a cute story about a guy who's sincere. He's really not an idiot. He's a little overbearing. Um but I liked this film. It was, listen, it was an hour and 35 minutes. It was an easy watch. It was a pleasant watch. Um you're introduced to both characters. So and there was something that I found interesting. Whenever they showed Ranjit and his wife, or Ranjit with people, and it was just them, they spoke English. And then when they got to his house and Bharat shows up, now he's talking Indian. So there was a lot of English speaking in this, which I appreciate, because sometimes the subtitles don't match, especially when it's an auto generate. In fact, I'll give you an example. There's a line where they're talking about his mistress. And the line is, she's not a doctor, she's a nymphomaniac. That's the line. The subtitle said, she's not a doctor, she's a thermohomonuclear. That was what it said. Now I knew that's not what he said. So sometimes it's a challenge because the words don't quite match up. So I appreciated that. Um, so they introduce him. He's feeding a dog, and then he's at the music studio. So you understand who this guy is. And then they introduce Bharat, who's on a bus, and he gets next to somebody, and he starts singing, and he pulls out an album, and that's a bit that they do. He's got this album of his life, a photo album with clippings and stuff, and he takes it out of this plastic bag that's folded and then tied with a ribbon around it. And every time he shows it, he meticulously takes it out and shows it. And that's how the guy next to him talks to Ranjit, and that's how he gets introduced as the idiot to this party. Um, but through a bunch of different things that happens, he throws his back out. Rajat and Bharat comes to the house and makes matters worse, but he's trying to help him, and by helping him, he's only making it worse. And then his wife leaves him. Rajat's wife leaves him, and then his buddy comes over. It's a cute movie. I actually I liked it. I liked it a lot. And what I also liked about it is, like the lead character Ranjit, he was not sympathetic up until the end. I mean, he had a mistress. He's bent out of shape over his wife leaving him, but he's got a mistress, and the mistress shows up, and that's this reminds me when I used to do plays. I used to do bedroom farces, British bedroom farces, and it was always about mistaken identity. And in this film, there's a lot of that. He thinks Suman is the wife. So there's that. So she shows up, and then the wife shows up, and it's fun, and that's why it feels more like a play. Um, and then there's this one character. Oh, well, I guess here's the other thing they did that I've never seen in an Indian film. I don't know if you guys are familiar who Howard Hawks is. He's a famous Hollywood director, mostly known for westerns, but a great director. And one film that I love that he didn't direct it, but he really did, The Thing from Another World, the original. And in that film, there's a lot of overlapping dialogue, which is, what real people do, right? In this film, there was a lot of that. And I've never seen that before in Indian films. And the one scene where I saw it the most, he's ordering a pizza for dinner for him and another for Bharat and another guy's friend. And that whole scene, they're talking over each other. No, it's not one line and then another line. I really like that because you don't see it. And again, they didn't make Ranjit sympathetic even till the end. And they also, even though he wasn't an idiot, he was definitely overbearing, and he's trying to help out, and he does some things that help Rajat. But at the very end, he screws up again, and Ranjit says, and this is how it ends. What an idiot. That's how it ends. Now there's a sequel. I don't know if I should see it. You guys tell me what you think. Because I did enjoy this. Was it as good as this? Is it worth watching? Sometimes these sequels aren't worth watching. Not like Sing 'Em Again, which is going to be awesome on Diwali, and I'm going to see it. The performances, I liked all the performances. I thought everyone was good. I mean, it's obviously the two leads, Vinay and Rajat Kapoor. And I thought they were both excellent. I thought they played well off each other. Their personalities were different enough. I thought they were both, I mean, Rajat wasn't funny. He was the straight man for what was going on with Bharat. But I thought he was a good straight man, and to see him so young. So, and the women, they weren't in it much. Again, Dharavi, I would have liked to have seen Suman in a lot more. But, but I'm going to give the performances a 3. I thought they were good, and a little more grounded. The music, there wasn't a ton of music. There was no big musical numbers. Yeah, I mean, but music played a big part because one, the lead was in a music business, and in Bharat is always singing. In fact, he's got a voicemail that goes on forever with him singing. So music played an important role, but not in the way you typically see in these movies. So I'll give it a 3 because it did help. So my verdict on the film overall is I'm going to give it a 3. I mean, it wasn't a great film, but it was fun. It was, I don't know how to describe it. It was a nice watch because I've watched a couple of films that are considered comedy classics, and like Mine Pyar Kia, which is it's a romance show, a movie, but there's a lot of broad comedy in it. I'm going to watch Ishq. I watched Ishq, and that's pretty broad humor, and it's really not my cup of tea. And this I liked it. It was a pleasant watch. I smiled. I wasn't guffawing. I wasn't falling over myself because it was so funny, but it was humorous, and I enjoyed it. So Ayush Jayan 3405, thanks for recommending this one. I didn't expect this. I didn't know what it was, and I was pleasantly surprised by I really like this movie. So if you haven't seen it, not a long watch, easy watch. Check it out if you get a chance. Okay. All right. I'm still going down that list, just knocking them out. And that deserves a subscription, a notification, a like, and a share. And remember, I know I keep saying this and I keep repeating myself, but the only way the algorithm on these shows will change is if you get likes and comments. And there are films, Goat, I think, has 500. I think that's the one that has over 500 views, but there's only like 17 comments. So either people are seeing the beginning of it and thinking it's the movie instead of a review. But if you guys subscribe to the channel, you know what I do. So I don't think that's what it is. So if you could just take the time, and even if it's a wave, you don't even have to put anything in, but an emoji, apparently it makes a difference. At least all my research is showing that. So if you wouldn't mind, do that for me. And also, if you guys want me to get the gang back together for another show, is there a movie you would like the whole gang to watch? I was asked that by the gang, actually, because they enjoyed getting on the show. So give me what you think the whole gang might like, and we could do a good discussion around. Maybe not the whole gang. I don't know if everyone would want to do it, but I know a bunch of them would. So let me know in the comment section. Okay. All right. That's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on John Talks Indian Cinema with another 10ish Minute. Thanks for watching.
Zooby dooby nache kyun pagal stupid man. Zooby dooby pampara, zooby dooby param pam. Zooby dooby nache kyun